up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome, and welcome to another video of the Halloween series. How's your day going, your night going, your month going? It is so nice to see you every single day. This is my favorite time of year. Sorry, I just get excited. I love Halloween so much. I love October, and I'm never gonna get tired of saying that. I feel like I always say that. Whatever. Tonight I'm even more excited because it's not only Halloween time, not only like a video in the Halloween series playlist, but also a video on my Supernatural playlist. And y'all know that's my favorite show. American Horror Story, that's a pretty cool show. Friends, that's a pretty awesome show. I like so many shows, but nothing compares to Supernatural. And I'm never gonna get tired of saying that. Sorry about that. But anyway, so tonight's video is about to get pretty spooky. It is all about phantom phone calls. Phone calls from the dead. Before we get started, I just want to say that if you're new here, I will listen to videos every single week. My uploading schedule is Tuesday and Friday, but sometimes I upload other videos throughout the week. I just put Tuesday and Friday just in case just to make sure I'm going to upload no matter what. Because sometimes, you know, life gets crazy and blah, 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 whatever. You can always expect a video from me on Tuesday and Friday. And this month, every single day, like I said, because it is the spooky season, yes. So if you haven't already, I would love it if you could go ahead and subscribe and become part of this little Spooky Bell fam. We're pretty awesome. And now if you want to hear all about the spooky phone calls from the dead, just go ahead, turn off your lights, and stick around. So imagine getting a call from someone who passed away, someone you really loved. Wouldn't you freak out? There's actually an episode in Supernatural, which is why this isn't the Supernatural playlist, of course, all about this. Dean, one of the brothers, they're like hunters. They hunt like ghosts and monsters and all that, saving people, hunting things, a family business. Sorry, if you don't watch Supernatural, you're always like, what the hell is she talking about? He gets a phone call from his dad, who had passed away a while ago. So he really thinks that's him because it's his voice and he's saying stuff that only his dad knew, you know? That really messes with his mind, and he's like a very strong person. Nothing can fool him. But that's what I'm saying, the power of a call from a loved one who passed away. That is so terrifying because it messes with his mind. And like I said, he's a strong person. Anyway, to summarize everything, because I don't want to spoil it for you in case you want to watch it. And this has been happening in the episode. This has been happening all around town, in the town they're investigating. Because they go to like different towns for different cases and whatever. So everybody was getting calls from loved ones who would call them all the time and eventually ask them to take their own lives so that they could join them on the other side. Which is a little weird, right? Do you really think a loved one would do that to you? So now let's move away from Supernatural a little bit to real life. Now let me talk about my personal experience. When I was a kid, my great-grandma passed away, and for 7 days straight. I know this is ironic because 7 days in the phone call. Anyway, for 7 days straight, I would have the same dream. And the dreams were lucid, by the way. I'm gonna make a video all about this, by the way. When I dream of someone who has passed away, I always know if that's really them or just like my subconscious or just like something else, you know? I always know. I don't know why. I just know. If I see someone who died in my dream, I know if that's really them or something else. I just want to say that some evil entities, they love pretending they're like dead loved ones, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, I had dreams about her all week long. And they were all different, all lucid, but all different. But kind of like in the beginning of the dreams, kind of like an intro, which is a little funny, I would get a call. I would be in my room, in my childhood room, and I would get a call from her and she wouldn't say anything. Remember those like old phones? Those old ass phones were like big. I'm probably gonna put up a picture so you can know what I'm talking about. If you don't remember that, my friend, you are just like really young, because that's like from way back in the day, you know? It was my dad's phone, by the way, because I was a child. Anyway, I would see I still remember every time the phone would ring, the screen would be green. I remember that. Anyway, I would pick up the phone. I was kind of scared, but at the same time I wasn't, you know, because she died when I was a kid. So I would pick up the phone and she wouldn't say much. Then I would hear her voice saying, Sabrina. She used to call me that. And it was just like, it was kind of nice hearing from her. And I would tell my mom, she was my mom's grandma, and I would tell my mom about that. And she was just like so happy because she believed me. Because, you know, children, they have they're more connected to the other side, you know? Because their energy is pure and they're like, the veil is still not completely thick. Their minds, they're like really open to it. You know what I mean? When you're open to stuff like that, you're more likely to experience if you believe in it, you know? But anyway, that was it. That's what happened. And after the call in the dreams, which is so weird, like, I still don't understand. It was the same freaking dream, at least the beginning. Because you know how dreams are crazy, right? Something's happening here, and then all of a sudden, everything changes. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I would get the call in the beginning of the dreams, and then I would have a weird dream again with her, and they were all different, and I don't remember much, but I do remember this one because it was every day for 7 days. This actually reminds me of a pretty spooky, eerie story I'm gonna tell you. But before, just keep in mind that I don't know if this is true or not. It is said to be true because the woman, she swore it was true, and she like ended up in an institution, a mental institution. So this was all over the news back in the day. Years ago, this guy was driving one night and this hole opened up on the ground underneath his car. It was like a tragedy. It was so sad. A lot of cars fell into this hole, and unfortunately and sadly, all of them suffocated to death. So this guy calls his sister, screaming his lungs out. He was screaming and screaming, and he would not stop, as if he was in a lot of pain, which he definitely was. I can even imagine how she felt, you know? He screamed, help, and then screamed and screamed and screamed nonstop. And then he said her name, and then he screamed and screamed nonstop, and then he hung up. So far, this all seems pretty normal. I mean, not normal, but you know, mundane. You would think that, right? Well, later on, they found out the guy died an hour before he made that call. So, like, that was a call from the beyond. And it makes me wonder, was he in pain on the other side? Because it had been an hour since his passing. That is just very disturbing. So his sister was never the same after that, of course. And like I said, she ended up in a mental institution because she was just like, you know. I can't even imagine. That must be so terrifying. Mine was terrifying. It wasn't even in the 3D, you know? Which also reminds me of another case. And this happened in the early 2000s. It was so spooky at the time, of course. So there was this thing, this website, kind of like Facebook, but it was called, I don't know how to pronounce that, but like, I think it's Orcube? I don't know, but this name. So there was this thing, which is kind of like a page, but we would call that community. And this guy was freaking the hell out in the community I was in. Like, a lot of people were in this community. So this dude was just like freaking out. He was like a young man in his 20s or whatever, and he had this girlfriend who died. They were both in the car, and I think he was the one driving. He lost control of the wheel, and they fell into a river. She died, she drowned, and he survived. So he was saying that her spirit was making his life a living hell. She was calling him nonstop in the middle of the night and saying the most disturbing things. He didn't say what those things were, but he assured us it was disturbing. She was not looking good, by the way, that's what he said. She was like all pale, like she was trying to scare him or something. And eventually, she started telling him, begging him to kill himself so that he could join her on the other side. Do you really think that was her? Because if it was, she's a crazy ass bitch. I don't think that was her. I mean, I don't know who this girl was. Maybe she was a bitch, I don't know. But a lot of people, when they say they've gotten phone calls from the dead, they all claim their loved ones were kind of implying that they should take their own lives. And I will always say, I don't think that was them.